So today we're doing a question here called convenience store, and essentially the method gives us four array values, and these are stored as integers, which are essentially representing quarters, dimes, nickels, and pennies respectively. And then we have another value in the method signature for change enough, and that is actually the amount due. So essentially what it's expecting us to do is it's expecting us to add 25, it's expecting us to add 25 quarters, dimes, nickels, and pennies, all of course in ascending order or descending order in terms of value. And then when we add them up, if it's greater than or equal to amount due, then we'll return true, otherwise we'll return false. So the way to really do this one here is to understand that we have respective values for quarters, dimes, nickels, and pennies. And if we have, let's say, 25 pennies, or let's say 25 nickels, or even 25 quarters, then multiplying it by the amount of the coin value will essentially get us how much currency that translates into. So, so I'm going to start by actually making that definitive here. I'm going to say, well, your quarters is essentially going to be equal to change of I multiplied by 0.25. So you're thinking of this array. We're thinking of this array which starts with quarters, and that actually is at the 0th index, which is the first element, and we know that the first element has quarters stored in it. So that so let's say 25, or let's say 10 quarters multiplied by 0.25, which is of course the value of the currency of the coin, will essentially give us how much it actually translates into. And then ultimately, we're just going to add these all up and then make a Boolean comparison. So the same thing would apply with, let's say, the second value that we have, the second highest coin value, which we have. So it goes from quarters to dimes. And then so we say, okay, double dimes is equal to change of 1, because dimes is in the second place in the array, the second element, which is referenced by the first index. So we're going to say, okay, change of 1 is multiplied by 0.10, and double, let's say pennies, or not pennies, we'd actually go to nickels, wouldn't we? Nickels is equal to change of 2, and that it would be, of course, multiplied by 0.05. And similarly, pennies would be the last element in the array. We're on the 4th element, but of course our index count starts from 0. So we're actually, our index is 3 at the 4th element. So this one is 0.01. And we say, okay, well, so we could say double amount is equal to dimes, well, we'll start from quarters. Quarters plus dimes plus nickels plus pennies. And if the amount is greater than or equal to the amount due, then we'll return true. Else we'll return false.